Magic loop is a specific way of knitting using a very long circular needle. For example, when I knit my hat's diameter is 48 centimeters, and the needle I use is 100 centimeters long. There are several advantages of using the magic loop technique. There is no need to buy double point needles or circular needles of varying length, so you can save a bit of money. You can also knit items of changing diameter using the same needle. It is easier to try on hats because the opening remains round and elastic. And there is less chance for baggy columns at the changeover points, only 2 with magic loop. And for some people, using double point needles could be felt awkward, and with magic loop it's much easier because we only work with 2 needle tips. Here we cast on the required number of stitches, and now we need to hold together the beginning and the ending of our cast on row and find the middle section, and then pull out the cord to create a loop. Just make sure you pull out the cord of the needle tip that has a longer cord so the stitches don't fall off the needle. So now we have 2 needle tips parallel each other and a loop on the right side. Now we are going to pull out the needle tip where we have the working yarn. So we're continuing from the point of casting on where we finished casting on, and make sure you check your knitting so it's not twisted. Make sure all your stitches look in the same direction. I like to push my stitches a little bit closer to the tip so they're easier to slip off the needle, because I don't particularly like pushing the needle tip with my index finger. So here we get them close together, the beginning and the ending. And I'm going to knit my first stitch. And we need to tighten this area a bit so we don't have a gap. Even you can tighten maybe the first 2 stitches. And then I will continue knitting my first row after casting on. So here I'm finishing the first needle. So I just reached the changeover point. So now we have a loop on the right side and 2 needle tips on the left side. And to continue knitting, we need again to pull out the cord of the needle tip where we are going to knit. like this. So we're going to knit the stitches on the upper needle tip. We pull out the needle tip at the bottom to create a loop. Now we have loops on either side, on both sides. That's the magic loop. And here at the changeover point, it's very important again that the first stitch is knitted tightly, just to make sure you don't have baggy columns. And I continue knitting all the stitches now on my left needle. So here I am halfway through on my left needle, and I want to show you again how the magic loop looks like. We always have two loops on two sides. They are approximately evenly positioned across each other. I will finish my row now and meet you at the next changeover point. So here we are. This is the area where we connected the two ends of the caston row. And I'm just checking that the work is not twisted. And again, the left hand needle gets pushed in and the right hand needle gets pulled out. And make sure you have the working yarn in your left hand, not the tail. It wouldn't last long. So here at the connection point, I'm going to continue knitting. And again, we need to tighten the first stitch, or rather first two stitches, just to make sure we don't have baggy columns. So see, I'm slightly tightening the first stitch and the second one, so all our stitches look even. And again, continue knitting in the usual way up to the next changeover point. So here I knitted a few rows to make the knitting more substantial so you can see it better. And this is the changeover point I wanted to show you. By tightening you avoid baggy stitches, but there is another way of avoiding baggy stitches. From time to time, just move the loop a few stitches away. Sort of back and forth, so you don't have them always at the same location. So that's another way of preventing distorted, enlarged stitches in this area. So everything looks nice and symmetrical. So there it is. That's the magic loop.